Every time that Caitlin Clark gets into an incident in a WNBA basketball game, we cannot continue to run to her defense each time and say that the players in the WNBA need to be appreciative of her. Because this is going to continue for the rest of her WNBA career. Now, in the game last night, she got poked in the eye by JC Sheldon, and then Marina Marbury came up to her, bumped her, she fell to the ground. But let's not forget, Caitlin Clark also pushed JC Sheldon after she got poked in the eye, and rightfully so. But when it comes to people on the internet, they saying she needs to leave the WNBA because the ticket sales suffer without her. She needs to leave because they don't appreciate her. Listen, this happens to every player that has a talent like Caitlin Clark. They are all the victim of targeted aggression. You know why? Because people love them so much. When somebody gets the opportunity to step on the basketball floor against them, they gonna try to rough them up a little bit. And I know some players get out of hand when it comes to Caitlin Clark, and they do some things to her that they typically wouldn't do to anybody else. And that's because she has a skill set that not too many people have, and we praise her all over the internet. And I also want to give a shout out to Sophie Cunningham, who later on in the game took up for Caitlin Clark on the basketball floor and did a hard foul, which we don't see too often because we always wonder where her teammates are. But when it comes to Caitlin Clark, we know she pop her shit on the basketball floor. Caitlin Clark is a trash talker, and her being in the WNBA, this is what she wants, and what she's going to get is players who are going to target her on the basketball floor, and this is common. And I know I came on here before and I said that the WNBA players need to be appreciative, and they do, but at the same time, that doesn't mean they can't treat her with some type of aggression on the basketball floor, all because she's Caitlin Clark. I actually think this is good for the sport of the WNBA because it was a lot of action in that game due to that foul and the retaliation, and that can get more viewership. We cannot continue to baby Caitlin Clark when it comes to these situations because this is going to continue for the rest of her WNBA career. It's never going to stop.
Something just happened again, and fans of the WNBA are already exploding on social media. Because once again, the spotlight is back on Caitlin Clark, and the rival who many fans now call her biggest nemesis. And according to multiple reactions from viewers and commentators, the moment that just unfolded is reigniting one of the most controversial storylines in the league. Here's what happened. The moment that sparked everything. During a recent heated sequence on the court, tensions quickly escalated around Caitlin Clark. What started as a routine possession suddenly turned into another physical confrontation, the kind fans say Clark has been dealing with all season. Contact, hard defense, and a moment that left the crowd stunned. Within minutes, clips of the play began spreading across social media, with fans debating whether the action crossed the line or was simply part of competitive basketball. But the reason this moment exploded online is simple. It wasn't just any opponent involved. The rival fans can't stop talking about. Over the past year, several intense matchups have turned certain players into what fans call Clark's nemesis. One of the most talked about rivalries has been with Angel Reese, whose competitive battles with Clark date all the way back to their college days. From the LSU Tigers women's basketball championship clash against Iowa Hawkeyes women's basketball, to their now famous gestures and trash talk, the rivalry has followed them straight into the WNBA. Every matchup between the two instantly becomes one of the most watched games of the season, and every intense moment gets magnified by millions of viewers. Fans are divided again. After the latest incident, reactions online quickly split into two camps. Some fans believe Caitlin Clark is being targeted with overly aggressive defense viewership records, and arenas are selling out whenever Clark is in town. That level of attention means every confrontation becomes national news. Even routine fouls can turn into viral debates. The pressure is growing. With the spotlight getting brighter each week, the pressure surrounding Caitlin Clark is only increasing. Opponents know every game against her will be watched. Fans analyze every play, and social media turns every moment into a headline. For Clark, it means playing through constant scrutiny. For her rivals, it means knowing that any clash with her could instantly dominate sports news. What happens next? If history tells us anything, this rivalry is far from over. Every matchup between Clark and her toughest opponents now carries extra drama, more viewers, more tension, and more viral moments. The next time these teams meet, millions of fans will be watching closely, because at this point, it feels like every game involving Caitlin Clark is just one play away from another headline. And judging by what just happened, this story is only getting started.
The NBA is still losing money compared to what you would hope it would earn, but clearly things are on an upward trending trajectory. It's improving, and she has everything to do with it. Attendance for Indiana Fever games? Are you kidding me? WNBA draft, games on ABC, ESPN, television ratings. She's directly responsible. And people were resenting her for it, like she was the cause of the problems that they had for the lack of recognition. No, she just happened to be born white. That's it. Caitlin Clark hasn't spoken against anybody. She hasn't assisted in denying anybody else the privileges they deserve. If anything, she's tried to provide assistance. A rising tide lifts all boats. She's trying to be the rising tide that lifts the boats. And there were sisters resentful of her. Be resentful of the system. Be resentful of the folks, primarily the white folks, who basically disenfranchised y'all all of these years before she came along, who denied you the acclaim and the allure and the profits you richly deserved. But you don't take that out on Caitlin Clark.
This is why Caitlin Clark was a game changer. And it's not because she's white, ladies and gentlemen. There's a bunch of white girls that have played in the WNBA. Why none of those white women got the respect that Caitlin Clark has gotten? Because it's not whether you're white or not. It's because, are you good? She was on Iowa's team that went to the national title. She played against a young lady, Angel Reese, and it was a good versus evil kind of thing. And also the advent of social media. Now you see her crossing people over and hitting threes, and that social media built this apparatus that made her larger than life. And she has class and decorum. Those are things that people are attracted to. Somebody that has class, decorum, and skill sets, and that's feminized as a woman basketball player. She had everything to make the WNBA successful. And they weren't doing that good if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark. The stadiums weren't filled up. Like he said, they were flying commercial. You may see one of them on your flight. It wasn't until the white girl came. And not because she's white, it's because her skill set.